Greetings and salutations, I am Thaumaturge and welcome back to Necrotic Drift. Okay, down through the door. Okay, I'm going to take a quick look below, I'll be right back. I descend the stairs and enter the basement. The air is at least 20 degrees cooler down here than it is up above, and it has a bit of a tangy, acrid, almost chewy quality to it. My breath turns into wispy, stringy clouds the instant it leaves my lips, and I begin to feel my very bones come across a deep chill. I usually prefer winter to summer, so normally I wouldn't be put off by the frost down here and a few bad smells, but there's something different about the chill in the air down here. The temperature of the air seems malevolent, almost. The ceiling of the basement is about 5.5 feet high, so I have to lurch over like I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame just to get around. The walls have a very rough texture to them, as if they were blasted away and then sanded down in a very half-hearted manner. The corridor continues into darkness to the north. I was wondering where this was. I thought this occurred earlier. Alright, let's see. Is there anything of interest down here? No. The walls at this stretch of the basement are a bit craggly, but otherwise wholly unremarkable. I'm going to save again. For one, I don't know how much time we have, and for another, I seem to recall that we can die here. We can die in a lot of places here. The light is very poor in this room, all of it coming from what can seep and pour through the metal door up above. The floor is turned to earth, however, and the walls seem to have a texture wholly different from the blasted rock earlier in the corridor. I can't say I'm totally surprised to find this area down here below them all, as rumour was that the place was built upon some burial grounds. I just never knew that they were, in parts, integrated. Exit leads south and further to the north. Oh dear. I step over to the wall and take a closer look. I touch the side of the wall as it's difficult to tell exactly how far away from it I am, and as soon as I make contact, dust jumps from the wall into the air and causes a bright flash of light. I'm blinded for a moment. My eyes quickly adjust, but in the meantime I sense that the walls are made of something rather smooth and rounded down. Upon the return of my sight, I see that the walls are in fact made out of skulls. I think they're human. I can't really tell for certain. The skulls are interlocked, and although they do not make up the walls entirely, they rest on blocks that reach about a foot off the ground. They certainly make up the worst parts. Can I take a skull? I managed to pry a skull out of the wall. It's extremely lightweight, polished and round. I don't know why I have a skull right now, but I'm playing what is essentially an adventure game, and thus kleptomania is advised. Coffin room. The basement ceiling gets much taller in this room, about up to 15 feet or so, I'd guess. At the very top is a small torch, which is providing a fair bit of light in the room. The rest of it is reflected from the coffin in the corner. Who lit that? The torch, that is, not the coffin. I don't think anyone's lit the coffin. The ground is no longer soft earth either, but rather blocks of cold stone. The walls are made of some kind of brick which reflects a bit of light as well, although nowhere near as well as the coffin. A support beam has been installed next to the coffin. Beyond it to the right is a small and very dark alcove. Okay, can I take the torch? Okay. Into alcove. I practically have to crawl to get inside this little cave-like section cut away from the basement. The light is gobbled up from something inside, as nothing from the coffin room manages to get in here. The only thing of note here is a very small trestle up against the wall. I wonder whether this is the tight space described by the lips. Examine the trestle. In the corner of the alcove is a single trestle. It's obviously rotting away and emitting a little bit of an old, musty smell. It stands about 2 feet high and looks as if it might crumble at any time. The trestle has a garlic clove on it. Take garlic. Kittens. Okay, hold on. I'm going to restore quickly. Take garlic. Aha. I hear metallic stone sliding up against metallic stone coming from the next room. Dun dun dun! If they're not going to do the sound effects, I will. The sound is so soft, but I hear something brush up against the coffin walls. I can't bear to turn my head and look at what it is. The coffin and the lid are here. The mummy exits the coffin. The mummy slowly begins to moan, seemingly with a weary, endless pain. It quickly shifts this to a scream. His keen is of a deep tenor, and it begins thrashing about. Small scraps of deteriorating bandages fall from its person and onto the floor. The mummy strikes the support beam. Chunks of the ceiling fall downwards, and it sounds as if the entire mall has collapsed a bit. The mummy attacks and hits me. I feel awful after that last touch. Jared Duffy is dead. Okay. The coffin and the lid are here. I see two bandaged hands slowly emerge from darkness. They grope at the sides of the coffin. A figure rises. I see first the unwrapped, rotting head and then the torso wound tight with stinking fibers and rags. The mummy turns its head directly towards me. Okay. Throw skull at torch. I knock the torch off the bracket. The torch falls to the ground where the cold fog quickly extinguishes it. Oh dear. Kittens. Okay. Alright. As you can see from the picture, I went wandering, and in fact went as far as the security office, trying to find something that might light the torch. I'm missing something somewhere, and I'm not sure of what. I did discover that there's a health drink in the security office, which might have been handy to have, but we're on a bit of a clock here with poor Casey. As soon as we enter the alcove, the mummy awakens. I do seem to recall that there's a way of killing the mummy. Let's see what happens. Alright. I'm going to enter the alcove, examine the trestle, take the garlic. The coffin starts to open. Exit. West, sorry. We want to go south now. Right, we're running to the south. The mummy lets loose with a slow moan from what I perceive is an endless pain. I hear what I presume is its fist strike something solid. The wall, the coffin, the beam, I'm not quite sure what, but whatever it is, it didn't put up much resistance. It may be that I need to get the health drink in order to be able to survive more than one hit, but it does indicate that I'm getting sick, so maybe the health drink is for that. I do recall that defeating the mummy is quite difficult and not entirely obvious. It's also optional, by the way. Still, you know what? I'm going to look it up. I'll be back in a moment. We're not going to throw the skull at the torch just yet. Instead, we enter the alcove, examine the trestle, take the garlic, go west, go south. Now, we hear what we presume is its fist strike something cold, something solid, the wall, the coffin, the beam. I'm not quite sure what, but whatever it is, it didn't put up much resistance. Now, I believe we go north again. And we get killed. Ah, right, okay, I did forget something. In fact, two things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back a bit. We're going to go back to here. We're now back in the food court, just before encountering the poltergeist. Before we do that, however, I'm going to run. Okay, here's the fountain. First of all, we take water. We're only able to hold it for a couple of moments before it flows through my hands. When I read that previously, I presumed that to mean that we didn't have the water. We do, in fact, have the water, and we can put the water in urn. So we now have water in the urn. Head east again. Casey has 15 minutes. Press the up button. Exit. Go west. Go west. Life is peaceful there. Go west. Oh, not that far. Right, we're back in the security room. If we look, if we look at the description here, I think, yes, they mention a set of lockers. Oops. Open lockers. Search lockers. Take the drink. Oh, kittens. Drop the postcard. Okay, drop the menorah temporarily. So we're going to use that drink immediately. Now take the drink. Seriously? Okay, drop the urn. Really? Oh, I'm still carrying the cross. That's why. Okay. It's a health drink. And I also learned from looking quickly at the manual that we can type diagnose to learn how healthy we are, which is not. So, drink. I throw the container away after I finish it. It's terrible, Natch. Diagnose. We have several serious wounds. Good, now we have everything again. Order of operations matters a little. So now we can go out again. Now, another thing that I noticed while coming back here the last time is that if we, let's see. Oh yes, we go west once more to the sporting goods store. Examine the table. There are socks, which we can take, theoretically. Right, we're back at the food court, just before the poltergeist and the vampire. I've taken the drink, and if I type diagnose, we see that I only have several serious wounds rather than being on death's door. I made some mistakes with that first skeleton, I'm afraid. I think I picked up the socks. I hope I picked up, yep, I picked up the socks. The cross is on the ground here. The urn has water, so we are now ready, I think. Actually, you know what, hold on, let's do this slightly better. Drop everything here, and, well, other than our glasses, of course. Go west, encounter the vampire and the poltergeist. Take all, presumably because we want to deprive the poltergeist of ammunition. Head east, drop all west, take all, go east, drop all, go west, take all, go east, and drop all. There doesn't seem to be anything for the poltergeist to throw at me. It's probably possible for me to get by it and get into the other section of the food court now. See? So let's go into the nutrition store. Now, another thing that I read. Search shelves. What? I'm sure it said to search shelves. Hold on, I'm checking. Maybe it's search shelf. No? At the health store, search shelf, it says here. I'm presumably missing something. Oh, there we go. Examine shelf. The shelf is a good 6 or 7 feet long with finished dark stain. Sitting on the shelf is an ointment jar. Take the ointment. Examine the ointment. The ointment jar is made of indestructible plastic and it is bright purple with the words General Ointment present in yellow block letters. If I remember correctly, this stuff is good at fighting sickness and other sorts of disease. Remember the mummy's effect on us? Now, I'm a little annoyed about that shelf thing. I'm not sure how we were supposed to discover the shelf. But anyway, the mummy attacks and hits me. I feel awful after that last touch. But the mummy is out. So now I think if we throw skull at torch, I knock the torch off the bracket. The torch plummets to the ground, but on the way down it strikes the mummy. The mummy quickly catches fire and lets out a set of horrible screams. It begins to flail about wildly, but I'm able to stay out of its way. Within moments the fire consumes most of the mummy, and I give the charred skeletal and bandaged bits that are left a helpful kick. The mummy is reduced to extinguished, dusty chunks. On self? No. Put... Whoops. Ointment on self? No. How do I use the ointment? Oh. It's closed. Open ointment. Okay. Put salve on self. Okay. Take salve. Put salve on self. I apply the salve to myself, hoping to stave off the rotting. It was slightly more complex than I would have expected, but alright. Can I search the coffin? No. Okay. Let's head out then. So, okay, take the cross. Wonder, can we do this? Oh, we can. Nice. We can specify multiple things. Menorah, text, socks. I think that's it. Kittens, I can't take the socks. The food court is a vast open area and I can only make out half of it from here. Ah, yes, we saw this. So let's head west again. This far section of the food court pinches off to a slight concrete wall extension. There were plans to expand this once, but by the corporation that owns them all, but they now seem forever ago and far away. The rest of the food court is to the east, and the final corridor leading out of the mall completely is around a turn to the northwest. Oh, Jared, I am so pleased that you have made it. This is so fascinating, no? You should admit what keeps the special moment for your heart. It is not enough then differing from the priest conducting a moment. What? She giggles slightly itself. All right, never mind. The vampire and Casey are here. Show cross to vampire. I wield the heavy cross as best I can and try to drum up a battle cry. Have at thee! I thrust the cross towards the vampire. The vampire turns gaseous before my blow can connect. She deftly reforms herself behind me. I feel her breath on my neck. It's not warm, not in the slightest. It just feels cold and good. I turn and kick her in the gut, knocking her down. I don't touch her bare skin. I know that would cause an incredible strain on my system, but she's away from me for now. The vampire shifts from side to side. From the look on her face, she'd love to attack me, but can't will herself to getting close because of the garlic. Oh, of course, that water was apparently holy water. That's not how you spell throw. Throw water at vampire. Give urn to vampire. Throw urn at vampire. Nope. Okay, now throw water at vampire. We did see an image of a woman drinking from the urn. Give the urn to Casey? No. Throw garlic at vampire. Let's see. So the garlic's keeping her off. Holding her off, rather. There's nothing here. Attack vampire? But miss. No, I don't think this is working. Hit vampire with urn? No. Hit vampire with stick? Oh. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's do this slightly better then. Now the cross didn't actually help us last time, so take stick, shades, urn, menorah, text, socks. Put on socks. I already have a decent pair of socks, so I place them over my hands and use them as mittens. The mall is freezing anyway. Fair enough. Put on shades while we're at it. Okay. We've headed west. 6 minutes, Jarrett, says Gibbs. We encounter the vampire. Attack vampire with stick. Attack but miss the vampire. Okay. There we go. I clobber the vampire with Gibbs' lacrosse stick. I impale her up against the wall. Remember, the tip was sharpened. I'd forgotten that. Audrey goes over to Casey and feels the side of her neck right below her left ear. She's been bitten, whispers Audrey. She scratches Casey's right hand with a long fingernail and draws a bit of blood. We still have some time, says Audrey. There's still blood in her veins. The vampire did not drink much of it. Eventually the enzyme transmitted in the vampire's bite is going to turn it all to ichor, I say. We can maybe give her a transfusion. I don't know, though. Is there something you can do? I ask Audrey. I can do it, she says with strong resolve, but we'll need a lot of blood. She's practically brain dead, says Gibbs. I'll carry her.